What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash. Shout out to the Dragon Riders and the House of the Dragon. We're actually on the Bitcoin Cash BTC chart. Cashies, be cashy. You wanted me to talk about this, and we'll talk about the USD as well. But I think starting here, maybe we'll go to the USD and come back to this even. But I think starting here is totally fine. Why not? Looking at this on the weekly. Overall, looking at the Bitcoin Cash chart, it is a shit show, at least versus Bitcoin, right? It's done nothing but lose value versus Bitcoin, with very brief moments of gaining value and then giving it back and then gaining it and then giving it, total shit show throughout most of its existence. From low to high here, you can see that we actually found support on a 1618 off of a before this move. Arguably the most significant move in this chart's entire history was right here, right before this move here. This was the most. You can't see something that was. I mean, on a weekly basis, this was bigger, sure, but you gave it back pretty quickly. This one, it just continued up much further than that, and it stayed strong for a little bit, right? And coming off of like the lows like this, I don't know. I guess you did come off lows like that too, but I just feel like this move, looking at it throughout the whole chart, besides this move here, this was like the most significant move we had. And it went all the way up to the purple line where we found resistance and we came back down, right? And I think that taking a fib from that low to that high will produce a significant enough scale to go off of, right? And you can see we actually found support right in the sweet spot. Bitcoin Cash loves bouncing off the 0.69. It loves going into the 618 to 69 area and finding support in there, and it looks like the BCH BTC pair does as well. We actually bounced off the 618 at first, rejected the 0.5. You're definitely getting respect on this. I love to see it. Coming down, rejecting the 786, going lower, rejecting the 100 even, and then you found support for 1 week on the 1272, but then you broke through it not shortly after that, finding support on the 1414, disrespecting the 1272, but still finding resistance on it, all the way down to the 1618. And I remember here, the week that it happened, I was like, I feel confident that that's the low. That's it. It's so beautiful. That's it. And then we actually went lower just a few weeks, like a month and a half later than that. We actually went lower. But what did we do? We wicked well below it. I'll give you that. But we closed. We came all the way back up and closed right at the 1618, indicating that this was some kind of a fake out, right? Like to the downside, it was a fake out. And what happens with fake outs? Normally you get an immediate reversal. I'd say almost always. That's what a fake out is, right? It fakes you out, has people thinking it's going one way, and then boom, it really just goes the other way, to a very strong effect. And for the first time in Bitcoin Cash's history, this is why I say that this was the more significant move. I was saying this was the most significant move before this, because on a weekly basis, on the RSI, we've never seen a reading that was this high. Nothing close. Nothing even close to it on a weekly basis. It was the strongest move we've ever had reading-wise. 2 weeks time to make kind of like the same move that took like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks here. Not only that, but we rejected the purple line up here, the 123 moving average. Here, we actually got above it. We got above it. It was short-lived. 2 weeks goes by, and then we're back below it. Finding resistance on it. We found resistance on it before and we came down. Would I expect that we see similar results here? Yes. Yes, I would. I definitely would. This could be considered a fake out as well to the upside. And we've been giving it back ever since. But I don't think that we're going to see something like this where it just shits the bed like that. I mean, we haven't seen it yet, but I mean, it could happen. But I don't think that we're going to see that and then just slowly bleed into new lows. I do, and I've made this claim since I was wrong about it here. I've made it since here too, that I think that's the lowest. That 1618 area is the lowest that BCH versus BTC is going to go. I don't think that it will lose. I think that I've made a very bold claim back then, and I'm sure that a lot of you Dragon Riders out there, I don't know if I said it, but shout out to the Dragon Riders in the House of the Dragon. I think I did, but you guys deserve multiple shout outs anyways. I feel very confident in saying that Bitcoin Cash, for the rest of its time, at least for a while, and when I say a while, I don't mean just this cycle. I mean multiple cycles to come. It's done losing value against Bitcoin. I'm not saying that it'll never go red. Obviously, it's been going red again, but I just mean on a macro scale, I think it's only going to be higher lows and higher highs from here on out. I think that was the all-time low. That is the all-time low right there. And if it's not, it's going to be the all-time low for multiple cycles, I would safely assume, honestly. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. It's just how life goes. But at the moment, enough of that stuff. I do think that we go lower. BCH first, BTC to me does look a little bearish. On the weekly, the RSI is kind of neutral. It's kind of neutral with like a bullish tilt. But is it? Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. Bullish tilt for sure. You're in the bullish area of control barely, just barely. If this week closes much more red, you will just come out of it. And getting into it one week and then getting out of it the next week is not a good look. That's really not what you want to see. So I do think that it can and probably does go lower. Maybe you come down and find support on the 50. You know, you found resistance on it before, resistance on it over here, resistance, resistance, resistance. Finding support on a previous area of resistance would be nice, right? And if not, maybe you go a little bit below it. That's okay as well. But the weekly RSI, I guess, would be neutral right now. On the daily RSI looks neutral as well. Kind of strong, but you are running out of steam. You're definitely running out of steam, aren't you? Because actually, I was wrong. I think what you have, ooh, let's see, what is it? Okay, so it's barely. It's just like the regular price, right? Just barely. It's 0.17% higher. But if you see this RSI, it's a lot. It's dramatically higher. This isn't technical hidden bearish divergence, but I feel like to some degree it is. You're getting stronger readings, much stronger readings, like significantly stronger, right? From 65 to 69, I feel like 4 points, that's a pretty big deal for just 0.17% of a growth difference on a closing basis. So I would feel confident in saying that we probably go lower, that this RSI, yes, it's neutral, but I think that we do go lower. And I think the first sign, or like the real indication, implication of that would be if we take this low to this low here and we get below this line. Basically, if we get below the 50, I think that will really signal on the RSI that the price is going to go lower. I say the price, but I guess it's the price. It's the Bitcoin price versus Bitcoin Cash. It's not the US dollar price. It's the Bitcoin price. So what would that mean for this BCH BTC pair? To me, that would mean that we probably go back down and maybe we form a higher low than this. Maybe we form a lower low. I'm expecting Bitcoin Cash to form a lower low versus US dollars. If it's going to lose value versus Bitcoin, I would also safely assume that you probably go lower than this low here. Maybe you don't go lower than this low, but maybe you do as well. Let's see. Let's look at this thing. Bump it back out on the weekly from low to high. Found support on the 0.5, finding resistance on the 1272. You've got actually like a triple tap on the on the 236, not the 1272. I'm sorry. I get all these numbers confused sometimes, guys. This kind of look, finding multiple taps on the 236 like this, to me would signal that you come all the way down to the 618, which isn't a bad thing. It kind of makes sense, right? In fact, if we were, maybe we don't go exactly to the 618. Maybe we go, because this was a fake out, right? Maybe we take this fib, we can put it here at this like previous low right there. Maybe it goes, oh, the 6.9 is right there too, so that actually does kind of work out still. Maybe it goes to the 618 here and bounces off. I think we could be getting set up for an overall, I know it looks kind of strange at the moment, but this could be an overall inverse head and shoulders pattern, right? Something like that would make sense. And right there, I know it doesn't look, the way I drew it, it doesn't look like you could go lower than this, but you absolutely could, and still have your shoulder like that, right? It could be a slanted inverse head and shoulders. That would be fine. But let's see here. Looking at the fibs specifically, more specifically, I do think we go lower. I definitely do. The BCH BTC right now, it looks bearish to me. Rejecting this purple line over and over and over. You're holding it as resistance, right? So after trying to get above it, if you break this low, likely you will. I would think you would go to your 618, somewhere around there, which makes sense too, because it is a previous area of support right here, right? It's kind of in that same general area. So that would mean that versus Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash could stand to lose about 31% of its value versus Bitcoin, right? 31% of its value before it's done going lower and then it proceeds to go higher. We might form this kind of slanted head and shoulders pattern, which would be nice to see. I know it looks kind of weird, but I feel like this slanted inverse head and shoulders would be fine, in my opinion. Maybe it's not a slanted inverse head and shoulders, whatever. It doesn't have to be. I still think regardless of where it goes, however far down it goes, it will probably come up out of it and form higher highs inevitably. And then from there, we can talk about moving back up to this high. But I do think right now the BCH-BTC pair looks bearish. Now, moving on to the BCH-USD pair, BCH-USD on Coinbase. Once it loads, there we go. Kind of looks similar, right? Kind of looks similar. The purple line's a lot higher, though, up here. We did reject the purple line up here, kind of in this area as well. I wonder, because I don't normally look at this fib. But I feel like, yeah, exactly. It's nothing. It's kind of nothing. You went above the 382 and then found resistance on it. Support on the 236. I think that we will find a low. Man, this low here, it's right there at 135, man. It is right there, isn't it? And that lines up very well with this from low to, come on now, from low, relative low to relative high, the 0.69. It's like literally overlapping that line. It's like right there. 135 for the 0.69, 133 for this previous support area. Just beautiful, man. And the 618 itself, it actually, wow, it lines up right with this bottom here. They literally both overlap each other. It's ridiculous. Just barely are these above them, but I think I really do feel confident that Bitcoin Cash is going to go down here. I'm feeling more confident by the day. You know, I've been the least confident that I've been throughout this whole range down with this right here. I didn't blink on any of these lower highs, but this one's had me. I have been blinking a lot. I've definitely been curious and wondering and at the edge of my seat. But I think that today's close, yesterday's close, right? It was about 4.5 hours ago. This red day here. I think it proved what I was saying yesterday, that closing above this line the way that it did, right? I was saying if we closed above this, that would be a good signal to go higher. And I was even saying that if we did that, I would consider moving my 145 buy order up. But we got the move. We got all these bullish things going on, man. But where's the follow through? Where is it? Where's we got all these bullish things lining up, but where's the bullish aftermath? Like, I don't see it. You're telling me a 7% move is what we get? Like, that doesn't make any sense. We break this line on a 0.65% day. To me, it's like it just, something feels fishy. Our daily RSI, we have like, it's not bearish divergence. I mean, technically it is, where you have a high here and a higher high here and you have lower highs. I would call this bearish divergence. Really what I would call this is hidden bearish divergence, where you have higher highs here and you have lower highs in your price. That's hidden bearish divergence. It didn't make sense. You've got like this whole bullish scenario, but like, why, if you've got this, why aren't you, what's the holdup, bro? What's the holdup? Why are we just chilling for like the last week now? It doesn't make sense to me. And here we are coming back down. We broke above it, and then the next day broke below it. This is why confirmation is important, you guys. You can't just buy on a day like this. And I was never going to buy even if it broke, right? I was going to move my buy order up. I was never going to buy if this thing broke. I wasn't going to chase it. That's not my style. I've been very, very blunt and honest about what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait for it to pump up and then come back down, likely form a higher low, and then buy on that higher low. I don't care if it's at the same price, higher, whatever, but I would feel more confident in that than buying up here at the top of this run, potentially the top of this run, right? I've made that abundantly clear. And just as the day went yesterday, negative 1.55% still, man. We've had really small days recently, but they're very significant, very critical days nonetheless. So right now, I would say that the ball is in the Bears' court. The Bears have kind of regained some momentum. The Bulls are losing it. It is slipping through their fingers right now. And all we have to do now, kind of the same idea as the Bulls breaking above this high, closing above this high, it's go time. I would say that closing a day below this low here at $210 would make it go time for the Bears, right? And you've got a couple of things coinciding with that. You've got a high point over here as well. Closing below this range, closing below that 210 area would really be, I think, somewhat significant to show that we're going lower. Now, does it mean that we're going to go lower than this low down here? Does it mean that we're going to go lower than that? It doesn't mean that. You know, maybe what we do is we form another higher low and then come back up. If we do something like that, you guys, then what we're in, right, if we were to have a higher low on this overall range that kind of like lines up with this line here, then what we're in right now is a horizontal, or it's a ascending triangle, right? And that would be actually a bullish pattern. Generally, seeing this at the bottom of a downtrend would mark a reversal. It could mark continuation, but statistically speaking, I think it's like 60 to 70% of the time it breaks upwards, right? But there is still a large percentage chance that it could break down. Just more, the majority of the chance goes to the upside. And maybe we see this. Again, I'm just saying, just because we close below this doesn't mean that the red dragon is going to soar and go set fire to Lake Town. No, it's going, you know, it might, and I really do still expect that we are going to take this low out. I have my buy order set at 145, and I haven't moved it for a reason. I do believe that. But let's be honest and let's be prepared. You know, let's be patient and just wait and see how this all plays out. You know, things are different. This was a different movement than we've seen throughout this whole range right now. Could we get, you know, a different expectation than like what the expectation has been? Maybe. If we break through this line, if we get a day to close, I guess, below this line here, that would be significant. I guess that would be, from the current standpoint, that would be all the way down at about 187, 188. Over here, if we were to drop at like a decent pace, that'd be at like 190. I don't know. Let's see if there's a fib that lines up with that. From bottom to top here, the 0.5 kind of does, the 618. Yeah, basically, I feel comfortable saying that, yeah, if we get below the 618 here on a closing basis, then I would say that these extensions down to the 150 to 135 area very much do become likely. Not just a possibility. Right now they're a possibility, and I give the likelihood more to that possibility, but I would say it becomes a likelihood, a true likelihood, when we get a close below 186.25. When we close, and even more so when we close below this low here. So just watch for that. You know, we have moved, we have started to move and shift to the red side, but we're still at the top here. We only closed 1.55% to the red. It does not take much for this thing to flip bullish. Okay, it really doesn't. So don't get too excited one way or another. If you're day trading, you know, like, be safe, be smart, take your profits and stuff, set your stop losses at appropriate levels to like prevent serious loss, right? Because this thing can just take off without a moment's notice. But it can also dump. It can also dump pretty quickly. And I think a lot of people were excited for this thing to go up, and I think their feelings are getting hurt now. I'm sure there's a lot of people who bought up here, and they're probably going to panic sell if we drop too much lower. You know, if you can't control your emotions, and I'm not trying to poke at anybody, I'm not trying to make fun, but I'm just saying, if you can't control your emotions and be patient up here, what makes me think that you're going to be able to control your emotions and be patient whenever it drops? You know, I've said it a few times. I think that we are in the territory now, or like, maybe I shouldn't say that. This isn't financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but how I would go about things right now is that every buy that I make, every single buy, and this is exactly how I'm going about it. Every buy that I make right now, I'm not day trading. I'm getting set up for the cycle right now. Okay, I do have a small account, a small little bit but like very small amount, you guys, that I day trade with. And it's a small amount still, because I suck at day trading. You know, I'm not as good at day trading as I am like longer term things. Swing trading is more my style. But the intraday stuff, you know, can throw me off, and I'm very bad about risk management with day trading. But with long term stuff, I feel like I have more. You know, it's different. It's a little bit different because I treat it differently. This is money that is supposed to produce a good life for me and my family, right? That's like, it's supposed to last and build and grow. So I don't want to be dumb with that. And with that, to tie that all in a bow, not being dumb, the thing that I consider anytime I make a buy now, a serious buy outside of the trading account, which again is small, is that this is a buy that I am holding for well over a year. I'm not selling it. So if I'm going to buy, I better be damn sure of my buy, basically, right? I'm not going to, and I'm not sure of a buy when I'm emotional. And up here is an emotional area. So if I was to buy here, I would have to have the conversation with myself genuinely that if it drops, that I'm not playing the game. I'm not selling. I'm going to wait. It'll bounce hopefully and then come up. And if it doesn't, oh well, I will just buy some more lower. That's me. That's my style personally, because again, with the way that I'm handling this, I'm treating it like a serious thing, because I think it is a serious thing, truly. And in which case my buys, they're not just something that I don't put thought into. So and definitely not emotion. I'm definitely not putting emotion into it. And I'm sure I'm not the only person. I'm going to speak truthfully. I was very emotional up here, right? We literally closed above the area that I said, fuck, if we close above this, that I'm going to move my buy order up, and we did. It just wasn't convincing. And to keep your emotions in check with that and not pull the trigger, it takes experience, or it takes a specific type of person. I'm not that type of person. I just have the experience. I've been in the game long enough. I've been through this with you, Bitcoin Cash. I know what you like to do. You like to throw my emotions for a spin, as do any mystifying dragons of their nature, man. They make us all kinds of emotional. But patience is key. Patience is key. And I think for those of us who are patient and still waiting, besides the day traders, if you guys are day trading, Bitcoin Cash is a good one to day trade, honestly. Very volatile, throughout even throughout these little ranges. It's like it's pretty obvious. You buy at the tops here, you buy at the bottom, or you sell at the top, buy at the tops, sell at the bottoms, sell at the tops, buy at the bottoms, you do pretty well. Even if you bought here and it went lower, well, guess what? It came back up and it went right around to where these tops were. So it's very friendly, I would say, as far as like day trading goes. But you have moments where it can be unpredictable for sure, and that's where stop losses come in handy, right? And also discipline. Like if you sell it here and you make profits, you bought down here and you sell it here, expecting it to go around. To have the discipline to be like, hold up now, I'm not going to make a trade. I'm going to wait for this move to resolve itself and then base my decisions after that. Don't make decisions emotionally is what I'm really trying to get at with this part. But enough of the philosophy, you guys. Truthfully, I do think, and I feel more confident now than I have throughout this whole range, or like this, not this whole range, but throughout this little like bubble that we're in now, that we are probably going to move lower. And I do think that if and when we move lower, we likely will go below this low here all the way down to the 135 to 150 area, with the potential to even go to $120. And the reason, for those of you who don't know or have maybe missed this, the reason that I think $120 is possible is because from the bottom to top here, the 786 is right there at 119.63, basically 120, right? If we take the overall range of accumulation that we had for well over a year here from top to bottom, the 0.5 itself is also this yellow line. It's right there at the 786. And I really do love to gauge sometimes where a price is going to pivot, whether it's at the top or it's at the bottom when it's coming down, to put like a line right in the middle of that range, right? Like somewhere like, I guess that would be like right in the middle of it, and find a bounce right off of that. I've shown multiple examples where this kind of thing happens. It's not something that I hear most people talk about. I heard this Australian woman talk about it on Crypto Banter once. So I know I'm not the only person that's noticed this, but if you guys take a previous price range and you take the top to bottom, you put a 50%, like literally right in the middle of that, you put a line there. It's not always, but sometimes you find support on that. And the fact that it lines up with the overall 786 too, not the 786.2, but 786 as well. This 0.5 here lines up with this 786. That marks it somewhat significant in my opinion. But at the moment, I very much do, and I more so do expect that we'd see the 150 to 135 area. That is the range that I have been calling for ever since we made this low. If we look at the 4 hour, I posted this on the Discord actually, the House of the Dragon here. I was talking about how I think we might have a diamond top, and I pulled this picture up here, and then I said these are examples of diamond tops, and that was obviously a joke, right? I was just saying, but seriously, this to me does look like a diamond top. I think it actually might be, because here you've come up, you might have formed your top. Diamond tops, what they have in the midst of them is they have this kind of like wonk wonk, this like little like weird little like that, and anyways, I think we have that, and maybe it could be to the other side too, but looking at this here, from like here to here, right? It's going to look weird because it extends all the way to the right, but just bear with me here. Something maybe like this. There we go. And then like this. And then like this. Yeah, something like that. You know, ignore where all these like lines going out are, but it looks like a diamond top to me. And with diamond tops, wicking out of it is allowed. It's one of like the few patterns that wicking out of it, it's like expected. It happens a lot because diamond tops tend to happen with like high volatility and moves that just like intraday go up and down and up and down. So you do get these wicks that come out of it, whether it's to the up or downside. But finding multiple touches on all of these lines is kind of the key point. And I think we're coming into the end of this. Does it leave room for it to go up? It's a diamond top, man. If it's a diamond top, it's a diamond top. In its nature, it's volatile. Yes, we could make a move. We're at 214 right now. We could go all the way back up to 217. That's not that far. But when we break this, diamond tops are known for high velocity, as in they move fast, right, at the breakout, and they're also known for pullbacks to the point of breakout. So if we break, we might see an initial move like this, but then we might come all the way back up to where we broke out and then shit the bed. You know, we might even go past the point of breakout and then shit the bed, something like that. So don't be thrown off if we break out, we come back up and then go down, right? We might not do that. It's all statistics. The statistics are like, that's kind of like a general thing to expect, but there's still a solid chance that you could just go straight down. This could be as well an overall M pattern. I'll delete all the noise now because you see what I'm going off of, but you know, you've got your M here, and if this is an M pattern, you're basically going to just move straight down. You're not going to have a pullback. If you do, it'll be very small, but you're going to move straight down and go past this low here. If we were to go past that low there, which is this low over here, I would expect that we would see this low. And if we see that low, there is a very solid chance that we could double bottom here. So until we break this low, I mean, breaking below the 618 of this like more relative range would, to me, if we do it on the first pass, especially if we break below this on the first pass especially, I would very much say that this 1272 to 1618, it's inevitable at that point. I don't care if we haven't broken this low yet. I think it would be inevitable. If we bounce off of it, come back up, and then come down and break through it on the second pass, I would still say that there's a strong likelihood that we go there, but maybe less inevitable, more of just like a likelihood. And then if we can't do it after 2 tests or 3 tests, technically I guess we've already had our first test, haven't we? So this next test is what I would expect. If I wanted to go down there, I would expect that we do break through it on this next test. If not, the third test makes this a lot less likely and more likely that we'd see a potential double bottom or a deeper retracement, not an extension. So based off of my expectations, I actually would expect that we break through the 618 on the next attempt, because we've already had a first attempt where we faked out, broke through it, and then came back up actually. So anyways, guys, all that to say, you know, I think I've said everything. This video went on a little bit longer than normal, but I had a lot to say. So if you guys liked the video, leave a thumbs up. I appreciate all the likes. If you guys would like to subscribe to the channel, go ahead. We do TA all the time. I say we, it's just me. I say we because it's a community. You know, we've got the Discord going. We go back and forth, bounce ideas off. There are more people that do TA than just me that are in that Discord, and I think everybody's opinions are valuable. Even the people who are learning, and even the people who have been doing it for a long time. You know, like you can be new to this game and still notice things that are worthy and maybe not worthy, worthwhile to notice. Right? They're worthy of talking about. So just because you have no experience doesn't mean that you have no brain, is what I'm trying to say. Like we definitely bounce ideas off of each other, and I like it. I like how active the Discord's been recently. So if you guys want to join the Discord, actually, I'm going to leave a link in the description for you. If you want to learn, if you just want to observe, if you want to communicate and BS like that, all that stuff is what the Discord's meant for. So take care, everybody. Have a good day. I appreciate all of you. Bye-bye.